My name is Jake. I'm 34 years old, and I work in commercial real estate sales in Atlanta, Georgia. 3 years ago, I was the top producing agent at my firm 2 years running. Not top 5. Not top 3. Number 1, I closed more deals, brought in more revenue, and logged more hours than anyone else in that office, including people who had been there twice as long as me. And at the end of that second consecutive year at the top, my biggest client, a developer named Mr. Harmon, who I had personally brought to the firm and grown into a multi-million-dollar relationship, decided to send me a thank you gift. Not a gift card, not a bottle of whiskey, a fully paid 5-day luxury trip to Las Vegas, 5-star hotel suite on the Strip, private dinners, show tickets, everything covered completely. Mr. Harmon personally coordinated the entire package and sent it directly to our office, addressed to me, with a handwritten note thanking me for 3 years of exceptional work. He handed the envelope to my direct supervisor, a man I will call Director Reynolds. Reynolds had been at the firm for 12 years. Polished, political, the type of guy who always seemed to be wherever the credit was and nowhere near the actual work. He told Mr. Harmon he would make sure I received everything personally. Then he took the trip and gave it to his girlfriend. I found out the same way you find out most things in an office. Accidentally, our receptionist, a sharp woman named Diana, who noticed everything and said nothing, pulled me aside one afternoon, about 2 weeks after the trip package arrived. She looked both ways down the hallway first. Then, quietly, said Jake, "Did you know Reynolds took a Vegas trip last weekend?" I heard him on the phone telling someone it was the nicest hotel he had ever stayed in. He mentioned Mr. Harmon's name. I stood completely still. "Diana, are you sure?" She handed me a sticky note with the hotel name written on it. That was all she said before walking back to her desk. I went straight to my car, called Mr. Harmon directly, and the second I mentioned the trip, he went completely silent for 5 full seconds. Then said Jake, "Please tell me you enjoyed every single second of it." I closed my eyes. "Mr. Harmon, I never received anything." The silence that followed was the loudest thing I have ever heard in my professional life. He told me to sit tight, that he would handle it personally, and whatever I did, do not say a single word to Reynolds yet. Now here is where everything changes. Because Mr. Harmon was not just a client, he was also a minority investor in our firm, which meant he had direct access to senior leadership, which meant Reynolds had not just stolen from me. He had stolen from someone who had a seat at the ownership table. And Mr. Harmon? He was absolutely furious. But he was also patient. And the two of us spent the next 2 weeks building something Reynolds never saw coming. Mr. Harmon reached out to the firm's 2 founding partners directly. Not about the trip. Not yet. He simply requested a formal quarterly business review and specifically asked that Reynolds present the account performance numbers personally in front of everyone. Reynolds was thrilled. He spent a week preparing his presentation, polishing his slides, practicing his talking points about what a strong client relationship he had built with Mr. Harmon over the years. The morning of the meeting, I watched him walk into that conference room, carrying his laptop like he was about to accept an award. I walked in right behind him, and sitting at that table were both founding partners, Miss Harmon and someone Reynolds had never seen before, a woman named Patricia, Mr. Harmon's personal attorney. Reynolds glanced at her once and kept smiling. He had no idea. Reynolds gave his entire presentation, smooth, confident, taking credit for every number on every slide. When he finished, Mr. Harmon smiled politely and said, "Thank you, Reynolds." Before we discuss the numbers, I actually wanted to address something personal first. He slid a printed copy of the original gift confirmation across the table. Hotel booking. Suite reservation. Both names clearly printed. Jake Morrison. Personal thank you. From Mr. Harmon directly. Reynolds, I sent this to your office 6 weeks ago, addressed specifically to Jake. Can you walk me through what happened to it? Reynolds looked at the paper, looked at me, looked at the founding partners, and I watched 12 years of carefully constructed confidence completely collapse in about 4 seconds. He started with, "There may have been some confusion in the office." Mr. Harmon cut him off quietly. Patricia, his attorney, opened her folder and slid another document across the table. It was a printed Instagram post. Reynolds' girlfriend. Vegas. The exact hotel suite. The exact dates. Captioned, "When your man surprises you with the most incredible trip." Complete silence in that room. One of the founding partners slowly took off his glasses, set them on the table, and looked at Reynolds for a very long time without saying a single word. Reynolds tried to speak 3 more times. Each attempt was worse than the last. Finally, Mr. Harmon looked directly at the founding partners and said calmly, "I have been a client and investor with this firm for 6 years because of Jake. Not because of anyone else in this room. I think you understand what I am communicating." The meeting ended 11 minutes later. Reynolds was walked out of the building by HR before lunch. Same day, 12 years, gone before noon. The founding partners called me into the office that afternoon. Apologized personally. Offered me Reynolds' position on a 90-day trial basis effective immediately. I accepted without hesitation. Mr. Harmon rebooked the Vegas trip, personally upgraded suite, and this time made sure I received the confirmation directly to my personal email. 5 days later, I was sitting in a penthouse suite, 30 floors above the Las Vegas Strip, sipping something expensive, watching the city light up below me. And my phone buzzed. A LinkedIn notification. Reynolds had updated his profile. Currently exploring new opportunities. I set my phone face down on the table, picked up my glass, and toasted absolutely nobody. Because some things you just enjoy quietly, all by yourself.